Pakistan's main opposition parties have demanded that the government cut off supply routes for U.S.-led foreign forces in Afghanistan. The demand comes in response to a U.S. drone strike that killed a Pakistani pro-Taliban militant leader. RTV's Kamran Yusuf has the details from Islamabad.
Pakistan's top leadership is assessing the impact of U.S. drone strikes on talks with pro-Taliban militants. The negotiations are facing an uncertain future after pro-Taliban chief Hakimullah Masood was killed in a U.S. drone strike. His death came at a time when he was about to begin dialogue. In his first public reaction since the killing of Masood, Pakistan's Prime Minister has strongly condemned U.S. drone strikes.
Our government, ladies and gentlemen, is firmly resolved to bringing the cycle of bloodshed and violence to an end. But it cannot be done overnight, nor can it be done by unleashing senseless force against our citizens.
His reaction comes amid calls for tougher action against the United States for sabotaging the peace efforts. The Provincial Assembly of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa passed a unanimous resolution condemning U.S. drone strikes and is seeking a ban on supply lines for U.S.-led forces in Afghanistan.
The Pakistan government should stop NATO supplies and tell America that if it is going to sabotage talks with drone attacks, then we will not be prepared to accept it and we are going to stop the NATO supplies. This should be the clear message going from the Pakistani people, the Pakistani political leadership and the Pakistani government.
In an emergency session of the Federal Cabinet, the government said Pakistan will not tolerate the U.S. drone strikes and will make an all-out effort to stop such unilateral attacks. The Pakistani government has also decided to pursue peace talks with pro-Taliban militants despite recent setback to the process. But it remains to be seen if the government will accept opposition's demand to block vital supply routes of the US-led foreign forces stationed in Afghanistan. Kamran Yusuf, Press TV, Islamabad.
For more on that story, our correspondent Javed Rana joins us from Islamabad. Javed, the big question that comes here is that this U.S. drone strike that killed the Taliban leader, is there any way that the Pakistani government was not aware of this? And then it also puts into question if they were going to go into talks with Masood, then why would the U.S. go ahead and kill this Taliban leader?
Well, going by what Pakistan's Interior Minister Choy Nisar said, that we had assurance from the Americans that they would not go for drone attacks during the process of negotiations with the Taliban. But Americans at the same time had told Pakistan that in case they come to know about an actionable intelligence about the location of Hakimullah Masood, they would go for it. However, Pakistan had pleaded that this is a timing is very important. You need not to go for it. And that is the reason that you have seen now there's a huge reaction in Pakistan. And also, interestingly, President Hamid Karzai has also come up with this statement and saying the timing was inappropriate. Basically, there seems to be a sort of consensus between Pakistan and Afghanistan and across the political parties in Pakistan that the timing of killing Hakimullah Masood has changed the entire political landscape of Pakistan. A man who has been seen as a terrorist by the US and the West, and also Pakistan, because Pakistan had also put head money on Hakimullah Masood. Now he has become a sort of hero. I mean, it is because of the bad timing of the American action on Hakimullah Masood. Had American allowed this peace process to continue, the situation could have been little more different. Now, I think because of these reasons, from yesterday onwards, we've been seeing a lot of criticism inside Pakistan's parliament and also in the provincial parliament. There is one point that is coming up, that this is the time that government of Pakistan, the federal government needs to block the NATO supply line. Now, federal government is quite under pressure right now from the mainstream opposition group, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf of cricketer turned Imran Khan, because they've got just 15 days in case the federal government does not block the NATO supply line, then the party of Imran Khan has clearly said, because it is governing in the northwest of Pakistan from where most of the NATO supply pass through, they are saying that we are going to block the NATO supply. So it seems that, as going by what Imran Khan has said, that no matter what happens, we are going to block the NATO supply line if the federal government does not stop the NATO supply line.
Thank you very much for that, Javed Rana. That's the correspondent there talking to us from Islamabad.